All right, good afternoon, NCCF family. Good to see everyone again. We were out on the East Coast for a few weeks visiting my parents and just got back a few days ago. So it's good to be back. And since I was with my parents for the past few weeks, one topic that has been on my mind a lot is honoring father and mother. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Some of the practical things in which I think God has been trying to challenge me in honoring my father and mother. We know that God gave hundreds of commandments to the Israelites. And of those hundreds of commandments, 10 of them were really important, which we know as the 10 commandments. And of those 10 commandments, we also know that there was one commandment which he highlighted with a promise, with a blessing that'll go well with us. And that commandment is to honor our father and mother. So it tells me something about God's heart, that this is an area that's really important to him. And it's an area that I want to follow as well. And so I'll share a few practical things of what that means to me for honoring my parents. The first thing is to honor them means to cherish them. Now, when I was back in the East Coast, one of the things that I like to do with my dad is to play ping pong. He's over 70 years old and he still beats me every single time I play. So it's pretty amazing. But this time when I was playing with him, there's a couple times where I would think in my mind, Lord, I don't know when's the next time I'm going to play ping pong with my dad. I don't know how many times I'll have left to play ping pong with my dad. And it just really helped me to cherish the time that I had with him these past couple weeks. And practically, I was also reminded that if I really cherish the times with my parents, then I'll also let things go. I don't have a perfect relationship with my parents. We have disagreements and differences in opinions. But I was reminded that if I really cherish the time that I have with them, that I'll let those things go. And so to cherish someone means to let go of things and just love them for who they are. So that's the first thing that stood out to me. The second thing that stood out to me is to honor my parents means to not despise their opinions. And this is from Proverbs chapter 23, verse 22. So it's Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 22. And it says here, "Listen to your father who begot you, and do not despise your mother when she is old." And it's particularly that phrase, despise, which has stood out to me. Despise means to look down on someone and say, hey, I'm better than you, or I know more than you. Now, I'm no longer a child in my parents' home. I have my own family now, but when I go back, my parents still tell me things. And it's very easy in those moments to think, oh, come on, I know better than you. I know better than you. I'm an adult now. But I was reminded that even if I don't necessarily follow their advice, it's still important for me to respect them and to honor what they have to say and to not despise them. So that's another practical thing I think God has been teaching me. Don't despise your parents, but value their advice. They have wisdom in there. And then the last thing I'll share is to honor my parents, for me, also means to pray for their salvation. I had a conversation with Brother Zach a few years ago, and he was telling me how we can honor our parents by taking care of their physical needs, which is great. But how much even better than that if we take care of their spiritual needs and to pray for them, to pray for their salvation. Not that they would simply go to heaven, but just like how our parents desired the best for us, I would desire the best for them, that they would go to heaven not as an average believer, but as a disciple, and to have that the longing for them. And so to honor my parents means to pray for their salvation. And I really have faith to believe that this is something God very, very much wants to do. And I'll share a little story about that. Last time when my parents were here, one thing I really wanted them to do was to be able to say hello to Brother Zach. Nothing more than that, just to say hello. And so we came to church service, and it was very busy at church. And by the time we had to leave, we didn't get a chance to say hi. So I was in the parking lot, and we're about to leave, and I was kind of disappointed. And then all of a sudden, Brother Zach drives up in, I think, Uncle Sunil's car, and gets out, says hi to my parents, and then leaves. And for me, I was shocked. I was shocked because I didn't say this to anybody. I didn't tell this to anybody. I didn't even pray about it. It was just like a little flicker in my heart to say, I hope they get the chance to say hi to Brother Zach before they leave. And Brother Zach pulls by. And so it showed me something. It showed me something about God's heart, that if God were to listen to a little flicker in my heart, a little desire like that, how much more would he listen to prayers from my parents that they would be saved and be disciples one day. So it gives me 100% confidence. I know God will do something in their lives in the days to come. And it just reminds me to keep on praying for them. And so those are just some things which came out of my trip to the East Coast and what it means for me practically to honor my parents. Thank you.